Welcome to the big MJ debate. Today I'm joined by Ilya Mazzani from MJ Chart Data and Sean McLachlan, the co-host of the '09 Chatline podcast. And we're going to be discussing all things Thriller 40. So you may have seen recently the Michael Jackson estate announced that a new Thriller special edition will be hitting shelves in November. Here's what they had to say. Sony Music and the estate of Michael Jackson today announced that it will be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Michael Jackson's Thriller, the biggest selling album of all time. With the November 18 release of Michael Jackson's Thriller 40, a double CD set comprised of Michael's original masterpiece Thriller and an exciting second disc full of surprises for fans, including never before released tracks, which were worked on by Michael for the Thriller album. To date, the album has amassed in excess of 100 million in sales worldwide. In the US, Walmart will have an exclusive version of the original Thriller album with an alternative 40th anniversary cover, while Target will have an exclusive version of the original album with a commemorative Thriller 40 vinyl slip mat. Both of these will be available outside the US from various retailers. So, Thriller 40. Thoughts?
I just want to start by saying that I am so excited that there's even a project. Like, I'm so happy that Thriller is getting the recognition it deserves, especially for its 40th anniversary. However, that doesn't mean we can't criticise.
I completely agree. I think, look, it's absolutely fine to be really excited by this, but whenever it comes to a project with the estate, there's always a kind of however, which I think we've found ourselves in for the last 13 years.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely amazing to have a project because we haven't had anything since, 2018? That really don't matter to me with Drake. And I think it was way overdue. But there's a but.
Well, I mean, firstly, let's look at the positives that we've got. So they've mentioned that never before released tracks worked on by Michael for the Thriller album. We know the sort of tracks that they've put out in the past have been very hit or miss. If you look at the Michael album, the less said about that, the better. And then, and then if you look at the success of Escape and the songs they found in the vault for Escape, obviously there was a different response there. So what do we think could be on disc 2? Do you think it's going to be songs that we've already had, like Hot Street and Nightline, or do you think they've managed to find some new gems in the vault?
I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I would like to think there will be at least one or two things that are not leaked on YouTube and that we've never heard before. I'm not totally confident that that's what we're going to get. If I see Carousel on that disc 2, I'm going to flip.
What's your beef with Carousel?
The same beef you have with Girlfriend.
Yeah, but Paul McCartney isn't on Carousel, so at least it has that.
Thank God. But yeah, I would like to think that there's going to be at least one or two things that are completely unheard of. My confidence isn't great, though.
Just like we've had it on Escape album, we had like Chicago and Loving You. That was a nice surprise. Hopefully. I mean, Bad 25 did have quite a few unheard of. I mean, except Streetwalker. But yes, I'm really hoping we have something new.
Do you think we'll get what we've already had, though? I mean, I think they'll probably... Will they include Carousel for All Time, Got the Hots? Because we've already had those. You know, a bit like with Bad 25, where we had Streetwalker, and then they put it back on. We had Toto, and we had Fly Away, and then they put it back on Thriller 25. And that was one of the questions when Branca came to London that myself and somebody else actually asked him about and said, you know, why have you included that again? And he said, well, there'll be people that don't have that. I was thinking, it's been out since 2001.
I think if it's a whole disc, they're going to have to bulk it out. I don't think they have that much.
That's okay. This is my fear, though. I'm not sure if I want Thriller 25 remixes on it.
Yeah, see, I would rather not because I don't like them.
I don't mind a good remix.
Hey, man.
Yeah, there's that, and there's "Peel 'em off like a tangerine," which is probably the worst lyric in a Michael Jackson song until Pitbull replaced that with "like a woman that's pregnant for 10 months, be the greatest, don't delay this."
Do you think you can expect features?
Unless you're giving me Beyonce, A-list, mainstream, current, long-term artists, don't be putting Maxwell on there. You know, I know Maxwell did the tribute for Lady in My Life.
It was cute.
Yeah, he's been doing it for 10 years. It's been cute for 10 years. Bit boring. But this is the biggest selling album of all time. You can't be putting, some sort of mid-seller on there. It's got to be the greatest album with the greatest artists. And I don't just mean like greatest at the time. It's got to be people whose career is like...
So who do you think then? Like, who's current in it?
Yeah, that I don't have the answer to.
Who do you think, Ilya?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to disappoint myself. I don't want to expect someone, but I would love to hear, obviously, Beyonce and someone like Bruno Mars. I know his career is but I feel like it would work so well with Michael, especially Thriller Michael's voice. It would just be...
I agree.
Yeah. But to answer your question, Pez, about the Hot Street and, the tracks we already have, yes, I would love to hear them on there. I would love to have them officially released, and I would love to have it on Spotify or any other, streaming services, because if I'm quite honest, I don't go on YouTube and play it because I don't have it on Spotify. I would love that. I would love it to be there and in good quality as well.
Yeah, I think that's always been an interesting one with unreleased tracks. That when they put them out, fans say, we already have these, this is leaked. And, the question does kind of remain, is it right for them to put these on Thriller 40 because they're already out there and they've been out there for years? My personal opinion, I have two kind of thoughts on that. The first one is, yes, they've leaked, but they shouldn't have. So as far as any official body is concerned, it's not their fault that fans keep uploading it to YouTube.
Just leak. It's illegally leaked out.
The second point I remember is Brian Loren, who worked on She Got It, Work That Body, some stuff for Dangerous. He did an interview maybe sort of 5 or 6 years ago, and he said, I spoke to the estate about my songs that leaked. They said they have no interest in doing anything with them. He was like, they've been shared hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times by Michael's fans, and I've not made a penny out of them. And I worked really hard on those songs. I wrote them, I did the instrumentation, and I've not made any money off of them because they're just being shared again and again and again and again. And when you think about it from that side, when a song leaks, it's like, okay, yeah, there is more than just, well, Sony are holding it in the vault and they'll never let it out, so why not? There is people that worked on that record that have rights to it that will never get anything for it. So I kind of, but equally, I love hearing unreleased Michael. So I'm kind of on the fence with whether I think they should be included or not. Obviously, I'd love clean versions, but, it's a difficult one.
I think we're getting remixes on that CD, on disc 2, because we're celebrating the 40 years, and that's what Michael did for the 25th anniversary. So I think it'll be there. Unwanted, but it will be there. And it's a great filler if they don't have anything unreleased.
Mind a good remix. I think a remix by like a well-known DJ, like I think like Calvin Harris or like someone like David Guetta or something that's really current I would enjoy that probably. I didn't love the Mark Ronson one, but that was just me.
It's a mess. It sounds like I did it.
The thing is, a mega mix is always fun. Thriller 25 had Jason Nevis do a mega mix, and it was, I like it when you're on the dance floor and you get a few of the songs rolling into each other, and that's a lot of fun. I know remixes are always hit and miss with fans in particular, because some fans are, neither here nor there with them, and some fans are like, no, I like the original and nothing else. So a remix is always going to kind of divide the fans. And then, I guess the question does remain, who is up to the standard of that Better Not Be That Diamonds mix you're playing there?
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, Steve Aoki.
I love this remix. That was a great remix. So.
The Scream Blood one is my favourite.
Do you think it would be better if they were going to do like a remix or a mega mix to go with a complete unknown person?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like, to be honest, I don't really care who does it. I just want it to sound good.
So if they do remixes on the album, it's got to be somebody good. It's got to be somebody relevant. So who do they get to do the remixes?
I know that The Weeknd was getting thrown around. And I like The Weeknd on his own. And I like Michael on his own, but I don't like them together.
You know what? Before The Weeknd released his new album, he was doing this like Apple Music, I don't know, events, and he actually played Starlight during one of those a few months ago. So maybe that was a little hint. I don't know.
Do you not think it's a bit like, I always find with people wanting The Weeknd, or they want Bruno Mars, who I do love as well, by the way. Do you think that people want those because they have some sort of Michael-esque way about them? In which case, like, Michael never worked with a mini Michael or a carbon copy of himself. So I never understand this kind of desire to want like The Weeknd and Michael and Bruno Mars and Michael, because they're, to me, the idea of the two artists are kind of similar in a way.
That's what I mean. Like, I like them both individually, but I think together they're too similar. What I think might happen, and listen, another thing that I love on its own, I love rap music. I think we might get a rap feature, and I am nervous about that.
No,
I'm not a big fan of, and this is weird coming from me because I absolutely love Escape, like reworked versions and stuff, but I don't feel like I don't think we need it on Thriller, because I think on Thriller 25 that was enough, and you're never gonna get anyone that's gonna make it work. What you're gonna put on Human Nature, Beyonce? You're gonna put Bruno Mars on what, Billie Jean?
I just think with Thriller, it's so, how can I put it? Like, you think of the Thriller video, right? That is in the National Library of Congress in the US. So if the world implodes tomorrow, Thriller survives in this vault. That's how important this era and this record is. Anything that's kind of subpar to that is an insult to it. You know, and that's not to say that I don't think the Thriller 25 remixes are an insult to the record. Because I really do.
I don't wanna walk away.
Oh my god.
It's just the harmonies on Sexiest Woman in Her Negligee just sends me every time.
No, listen, that remix would have been fun, right? It sounds great, but there's no Michael on it. He just has this like little bit on there.
So they've said about surprises, okay? So they've said there's going to be many a surprise coming for Thriller 40. Now, we usually know that when a surprise from the estate comes, it's the sort of surprise a dog might leave on the pavement. So, so what do you think the surprises could be?
Do they mean surprises in terms of the record or surprises in terms of everything?
My honest thinking behind that is that they probably don't know what the surprise is either yet. And they've got 5 months to figure it out.
They kind of revealed what's coming to put the fire out, sort of. But other than that, I don't know what to expect, because this is what I've learned with the estate. I don't get my hopes up anymore, but they still find new ways of.
If we don't see Thriller 3D, somewhere, this is wasted.
Yeah.
It
A
is.
total waste.
Truly, and yeah, no.
Like, remember when it was out in 2018, but it was only available in the most random cinemas, like, ever?
Yeah, it was available in like 5 IMAXs in the entire UK for a week in front of some random horror film.
Yeah.
Or non-horror.
It was kids' film.
Oh yeah, because they downgraded the rating of Thriller, didn't they, from a 15 to a 12?
15 for Thriller.
Listen, it was 1983. Okay.
Thriller scared me as a child. I was like 5 or 6 when I first watched it. But it wasn't that part that scared me. It was the part where he's halfway turning into a cat, werecat. That just scared the crap out of me.
Do you know, I was watching Thriller video the other night, and what makes me laugh is that Ola stands in the street, horrified as Michael turns into a zombie, right? And then after the entire routine, then it cuts to her, who then decides it's time to run into the house. So she stood there for the better part of 3 minutes watching them dance. And then it's like, okay, shit, now I'm terrified. So perhaps the biggest surprise of all was that the estate had changed the logo on the cover of the Thriller album. So you can see that here.
Oh my God. Look at this.
So what are your thoughts on the new cover art?
Go on, I'll let you go first.
Okay. I feel like I don't have the right words to say how disappointed I am in it. Whenever I look at it, I go back at it and I look at it again and I go back at it and I look at it again. When I first saw it, I thought it couldn't be real. That was how I honestly felt. And when I go back and look at it, it just looks so amateur. It's such a disappointment.
I was hoping it wasn't real.
What about you guys?
Minute of silence. I just think whoever did it, and I hope they're credited on the album so we can actually go back and I think it's just so, it looks like it was done on Canva. It's so disappointed. It's so disappointing. I can't even talk anymore. That's how angry I get. I still can't believe it. Like, I go back and look at it, or I'm just scrolling through Twitter and I see it and I'm just baffled to who sat on Google and said, that's it.
There was a whole group of people that looked at that and not one person in a room said, hang on a minute, should we do this?
Oh, shit.
And then... well, he thought it, according to what we've seen online, he said it wasn't official until it was announced. And then when a fan challenged him on it, he said, well, until this morning it wasn't official, so consider it official. And I just refuse to believe that nobody in the room kind of looked at that and thought, this is a bit shit.
A group of people that grew up listening to that album.
Right.
They just sat there and they thought, yeah, that will appeal to younger audiences. That is it.
Which makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like, when you were growing up with this album, guys, did you always hate the logo?
Well, my mum's 54. Sorry, Mum. And I showed her the logo, like, Thriller is her childhood. It's literally... She puts it on every day. Like, that's so nostalgic to her. And when I showed her this logo, she was like, that ruins the whole thing.
No, but that font on Thriller is so iconic. Like, I could tell you a few other artists that want to have Thriller as their fucking album. And they copy the font and take Daft Punk. I'm sure The Weeknd used it as well. And the estate themselves used it on Escape. I realized this the other day and I said it to you guys. Escape album uses Thriller font on it.
You can't even see the 40. If you actually look at it, the 40 isn't very clear behind the hideous Michael Jackson text anyway, so you can't really tell that it's a 4 and a 0. I think the thing I don't understand with it is the estate used the Michael Jackson and the Thriller font on merchandise from 2009 up until about 2016, even when it wasn't Thriller era. We'd get bad era stuff with that Thriller font on it, and now's the time to actually use it. And they've gone, now's the time for something else. Where is your head at with this? I mean, I just think for me, it's iconic, and you don't change something that's iconic. Michael would have obviously sat in a room and approved this as the logo. And when they added the 25 behind it, they kept the original font and the original logo. And Michael would have signed that off. This is his album. It's his product.
But it's the most famous, possibly the most famous album cover, picture, image ever in the world.
Right. Mark Ryden busted an arse for how many hours painting the Dangerous album cover, and people still reference Thriller where Michael's just laying in a suit. I mean, it's iconic.
That's the problem with this new logo. Like, it feels defaced. You may as well have drawn a moustache on his face. Like, what was the fucking point?
Yeah.
Like, it just feels like someone's taking the piss out of it.
They've also decided to put this on merchandise as well. Obviously, I am a collector and I love to collect, MJ products. Nothing about this, when I look at the merchandise, nothing about this feels Thriller.
No.
It's classic estate with logo slapping.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me there's not one image that you could have pulled out the vault and stuck on a top?
It's so thoughtless. It just looks effortless. And I think when Michael was so meticulous and so precise with details, when you're working officially under his name, you work to that standard or you don't do it.
The thing is, they've done absolutely amazing with covers. Whatever your opinion is, they've worked on like previous Take, Michael album, This Is It, Immortal album, what is it, Escape album. They've done Bag 25. It was brilliant. It was just enhanced, and it was great. And me being a clown, I was imagining like maybe it would be like a holographic one.
Yes, that's what I thought as well. That, like the book.
I will go yellow or something like that,
I honestly am not opposed to the idea of a logo being changed a bit. Like, as you said, elevated, not rendered unrecognisable. There is nothing they said in their statement, which obviously we haven't got to yet, that it was familiar. There's nothing familiar about this.
And it doesn't even sit well on the album cover. It doesn't look like it fits the image next to the text.
A petty detail that has got to me is, why do we have the biggest selling album of all time on the 25th anniversary edition and not the 40th? Because it looks as if he has lost that title. Do you know what? And he hasn't.
No, it really hasn't. And I feel like we need to be pushing that now more than ever.
Let's look at the comparisons. So for Thriller 25, all that was changed was, from what I can see, looking at the sort of three albums, what was changed is that the gradient in the word Thriller and Michael Jackson was kind of flattened and changed to just a solid colour. And then there was the addition of the 25 behind the Thriller logo. So it's still recognisable to Thriller. It's just a little enhancement that says this is the 25th anniversary.
Going back to the point that you made about they're trying to cater to a new audience. Now, when they're talking about the younger generation, I don't know how young they are talking, but I'm 23. So I don't know if I'm young enough or they're going for younger than me. But I would say that, and my friends who aren't even fans, I have shown them the logo. Nothing about the logo changes the content. So I don't know how much they are willing to throw at it before they realise the content is still 40 years old.
Right. Well, unless it isn't, unless they're going to do some hideous remixes. The irony of that being that they're saying they want to win a younger audience, and their announcement is, here's a 2-disc CD. I mean,
I know.
I'm in my 30s and I don't own a CD player, and I haven't done for a long time. You know, they may as well re-release Thriller on VHS if we're going to go down that route. Because they put such a big thing on, like, here's the new album on CD. But we want to win a younger audience who generally don't buy CDs.
I am hoping that they will be doing like digitally exclusive content or something like that, because that will cater to the younger audience. Get on TikTok.
Obviously, we've seen online that the fan reaction to this logo has been by and large negative. That from what I can understand, the majority of fans are really excited about Thriller 40. They're really excited about the prospect of music that hasn't been heard before. They're really excited about the potential for 4K short films, but the logo is kind of this dead weight that's dragging the whole vibe down. Would that be a fair assessment?
I think so. I think whereas nobody is upset that there's a Thriller 40 project, everyone's happy about that. But we are allowed to be excited about the release and disappointed in the way it has been delivered. Like, we can be excited about new content and also critique it. Having criticisms doesn't mean we're ungrateful for it, but it does seem to feel like the estate just missed the mark every single time. And I think the fans are so fatigued with it that it looks as if we're like brats who aren't happy with anything.
I don't know. I genuinely didn't think, as I said, I was expecting like this holographic cover, whatever, and then maybe be disappointed with something else, that they wouldn't put out restored music videos or moan about something. This was the last thing I would imagine. But now that they've actually said that they're going to release, you know, unheard work, that, you know, and they're going to release music videos in 4K and all of that, is like, oh my God, that's absolutely amazing. But, oh, you still managed to disappoint us somehow. Like, you found a way. And I really feel like they need someone younger in the team there. So someone could have like a different perspective, or someone could tell them that they need to do digital stuff, which they really don't like to. They don't like to put stuff for free.
Even polls on the social medias to get the fans involved in decision making would be a great way to start with. Say they showed us 4 logos and they were like, which do the fans like best? And they could have made it a kind of bigger thing. I feel like they say, oh, we're doing it to cater to a younger audience. And I'm like, which young people are you talking to who are saying, love this? Exactly.
Or saying that, you know, if you go into any clothing store and you places like Primark or H&M and you see band t-shirts, you see Prince t-shirts, you see Fleetwood Mac Rumours t-shirts, it's the original artworks on the t-shirts that young people are going in and buying. Yeah. Could you imagine if Fleetwood Mac Rumours album, they just changed the cover and then stuck it on a t-shirt and said, here you go, it's modern. There's a real desire from younger people for vintage things. You know, that classic look. The Rolling Stones, imagine if they said, oh, you know, the kind of tongue and lips logo, it's a bit dated. Why don't we switch it up for a younger audience and add a nose in? Like nobody would buy into that. And they'd all be like, guys, come on now. But with Michael, it's kind of seen that that's the best option. I mean, let's take a look at some fan responses. So Emily909 on Twitter says, surely this is just a teaser some receptionist did on PowerPoint. It's not the actual logo, is it?
All of us have the same reaction. Like, edited that on Word document.
Daniel TG85 says, what angers me so much about the Thriller 40 logo isn't just that it's a bad font. It's the fact that there are commercial free fonts out there that look so much better and it fits Thriller's aesthetic way more. Here's 4 fonts you can use right now that are free on Google Font. Anthony, Break of Dawn 99 says, my honest reaction to that logo for Thriller 40 made by the estate. They seriously need to fix it. Michael Jackson deserves way better than to have that logo imprinted on his legacy.
guess what? We complained about it when we didn't like it.
Yes, exactly. You know, I don't remember there being a fan alive that was like, Fergie on Beat It. Are you f***ing kidding me? What do you think, if anything, Thriller 40 will contribute to the legacy as a whole?